had a few water filters in my time, but I thought I'd show you this one. This is by MSR and it's called the TrailShot. Nice pocket size one in comparison to some of the things I've had before in the past, which as you can see is a sizable unit. This is mostly for humanitarian aid relief in third world countries, called a lifesaver. It's very heavy, works fantastic. Now there's a recall on these and I never sent mine back because I just never had an issue with it. I'm going to collect some water and we'll have a look at this new little filter. So this is the MSR TrailShot and there's not much to it. Now I have put mine in a little velvet baggie here, just like this, and I'll tell you why now. It's because if this freezes, it becomes no longer a functional bit of equipment. So a little velvet baggie, just to keep it warm, give it its own little sleeping bag. In the night, if the temperature drops below 0, it goes in its little sleeping bag, and I put it inside my sleeping bag down foot end. There's not much to this, it's very simple to use. Pocket size, this one I've had on scales, 181 grams. It came with this Ranger band as well, handy for a signal fire and handy to stow the actual filter tube as well. Okay, I put this bit in the water and I pump on this hand grip here and it comes out of here. I usually even boil my water after. It's a bit hit and miss with these kind of filters, I find, to whether or not the following day you're going to get the tom tits. So I am going to filter myself a litre of water. It's meant to be able to pump it in about a minute a litre. I'm going to drink that litre. We're going to cut the video. You're going to see the black card, but for me it'll be 24 hours later, and I'll let you know how much toilet paper I really needed. But with me a couple of containers clear. I'm going to try and dirty up as much of this as I can. Get some gravel in it as well. Is that dirty enough for us? So the filter tube into the dirty water, and it says to pump this at a 45-degree angle, something like this, with the little mechanism on the top, the nozzle facing almost horizontal, and pump in. But before I do anything, I'm just going to get it flowing first and get the worst out. Start pumping on this bulb, holding it at a 45-degree angle. The bottom of this is caked in quite heavy silt. I'm going to just give that a little clean. Right, carry on. Let me see what we got inside. It's pretty clear. Now it said I can actually pump straight into my mouth, which I can well believe. Hope that's dirty enough for you. It's got a leaf in it. Just going to pump a couple through. It is going in. To clean this, I need to take off this bottom hose here, like that. Give it a shake. Give it a squeeze on the bulb. Get all that out. I'm going to play about with it, but certainly that has come out pretty clear, pretty clean. Most filters will do that, make this kind of water look that clear, but it is a case of, well, see tomorrow morning how I feel. Just show you the bottom of that. It's got a leaf in, it's got grit in, stones, and I've been drinking from it. Okay, let's see if it will pump a litre in 60 seconds. Here we go. So I'm keeping this at a 45-degree angle. The bulb fills up pretty quick. The flow rate's quick. And I haven't got a stopwatch for this. I'll have to time it on the actual video and put a caption in. We're halfway. Coming up fast now. It's pretty quick. I don't know if it's the minute or not. Coming up to the shoulder. Okay, I'm going to call that a litre. This plain little filter, 2000 litres, and unless you keep a little notebook with you of every litre you've ever filtered with it, you don't know when that life source is up on this. So there's an integrity test for this, and it's all in the tube here. So I'm just going to pull this little red cap off there, which is the large pre-filter with the mesh, and unscrew the grey housing, and inside will be this cone, which I'm going to reverse and put back through the grey housing, so the cone will sit to the outside like that. And now back in the water, give it a pump, and this bubble here should be indentated and stay with the indentation for at least a minute, and then we know that the integrity of the filter itself hasn't been compromised. I'm going to put this bit back in my pocket. You can see me losing that. Let's give that a minute, see if this indentation pops out. If it does, we need a new filter, or it needs throwing away, or buy a different brand. That's been a few minutes, and it's still held that indentation in there, so its integrity is good. Let's just release the air, pre-filter back on. That's the integrity test, and put it back in stream and blow it through. Half filled the bulb, it should give a faster flow rate. So this is my latest filter, a backpacking filter, good pocket size filter, and it also fits in an ammo pouch on my webbing, so that would be fire making kit, water purification, all housed in the pocket here on the webbing. Over the years I've used many different types of filters. I've had the military filter, it fit into what looked like a glasses case, and the flow rate was about 5 minutes per litre. It did give a lovely taste to the water because it had a carbon filter. This one hasn't. It's going to taste of the water source. This is another one of mine, which is the inline filter, and if I get a drinks bottle I can fill this up and screw this on. It looks pretty clear. With this one it's a different kind of fitting. This is the actual filter, this is the housing for it. It's very simple to use this, even has a bite valve, and you fit that straight to your hydration bladder tubing. I can remove that, which has the pre-filter, and connect it to a standard drinks bottle. Screws onto the outside like that. Usually I'd use this straw inside like that, but there's no way this is coming off in a hurry. But I can remove the bite valve here, hold it upside down, and it should become a drip filter. There, it's just started. Could hang this from a tree. Just let it do its thing if you're not in a hurry. Just give it a squeeze straight into your mouth. I do like to use the straw with it when I do that, but that section there is sat pretty tight. This is why I like carrying this filter. If I find a bottle like this, I know it's somebody else's rubbish, but I can utilise it. And if I do utilise a bottle like this and it's not mine, ensure you do carry it home with you and put it in your recycling. Be responsible, don't leave your crap everywhere. It's not nice. It's not nice for anyone else. And it also shows a sign of occupation as well. It shows you've been there. So there's one filter which I can also use as a dip filter. I can use this as a dip filter also, but this I can use in conjunction with a camelback. Like I said before, it's mostly for humanitarian aid relief. It's far too heavy for a backpack. Once you get the water in that and the weight of this, it's got to be 2 kilos, maybe more. So these are my 2 favourite water filters. A lot of my regular subscribers will know about this, although it's never been reviewed. I don't usually review filters just because if it fails or you have a dodgy one or anything like that, or it gives you the tom tits, you know, I don't want any responsibility for that. Because I can drink from source, it's because I'm used to it. I'm glad to see the improvements on a lot of these filters. Now, if it's just a case of getting out the sediment, the sand and the mud, your sock could do that. And it does get out the cloudiness from the water and the mud and the silt and the sand. And you still need to boil it. Want to get wet feet, I know I am. Don't want to slip with the camera. Good test of my boots, see if they're waterproof. If I can get a little fire together and sterilise the water in the Nalgene, we'll do that. And there's an episode where I can just build a fire right next door to the actual Nalgene itself and boil up the water. So I'm going to bat on some wood, get that on the boil. And then it goes like this, round one side in a half pyramid. And even my fire making tin will have a Ranger band on, pretty much like this. Bottle's getting nice and warm. Okay, that's at a boil and that's sterile enough for me to drink. Now what I will be doing is collecting a fresh litre with my little TrailShot pump and drinking it like I said. And I'll come back to you after the dark flashcard coming up now, and it'll be 24 hours later, and I'll let you know if there was any stomach upset, whether I was throwing up or anything. It should be fine, it should be fine. But these kind of filters will not get out viruses and chemical waste. They never will. Any filter won't. You do so at your own risk. Now, bacteria is 0.2 of a micron. Viruses are 0.1 of a micron. These kind of pocket filters are generally all about 0.2 of a micron. So it'll clear things like your cysts, giardia, cryptosporidia, any waterborne pathogens really. But viruses are half the size of a bacteria, and you will need to boil to purify against viruses. It's cooled down a bit now. I've let it stand for a while. Still quite hot, and it'll make for a good little sleeping bag warmer that. Oh, this is lovely. Okay, I'm going to collect myself another litre of water in that plastic container, and I shall see you in a second. Well, that's 24 hours later for me. In fact, it's been about a couple of days or so, and as I suspected, there's no ill effect from filtering this kind of water and then drinking it. It's perfectly fine with that filter, but I'm not advocating the use of it as 100% safe. But with water like this, there's always going to be some kind of agricultural runoff and chemical, anything like that. And these filters won't remove chemical, and they won't remove viruses. That's why if the water looks a bit suspect to me, I'll boil it as well. Anyway, that has been the TrailShot and the Aquamira Pro. I love both of them. So until next time, take good care of yourself, and I'll see you out there.